19-year-old Tobias and Amara Vaughn stepped confidently into the first-class line, their tickets in hand, their future shining ahead. But instead of welcome, they were met with suspicion. "These seats aren't for you," the flight attendants sneered, blocking their path as whispers and cameras rose around them. Their crime? Daring to exist in a space where others decided they didn't belong. What unfolded next would spiral into humiliation, defiance, and a father's arrival that turned an entire airline upside down. The morning rush at Atlanta International was a blur of rolling suitcases and boarding announcements, 1,000 stories crossing paths. Among them, Tobias and Amara Vaughn, 19-year-old twins, walked with their heads high, boarding passes clutched tightly in their hands. Their father had always told them, "Carry yourself with pride, even when the world doubts you." Today, they weren't just traveling. They were representing their university at a national innovation showcase in San Francisco. They had worked months for this chance, coding late into the night, designing solutions that could change lives. Their father, Jerome Vaughn, CEO of a multi-billion-dollar firm, had proudly booked them first-class tickets. But pride often collides with prejudice. At Gate 14, the priority boarding line moved quickly. Suited executives breezed past with smiles from the attendant. But when Tobias and Amara stepped forward, the air shifted. The blonde attendant's smile fell away, replaced by a hard stare. "Boarding passes," she said, her voice clipped. Amara handed them over. "Seats 2A and 2B, she explained politely. The attendant narrowed her eyes, scanning the tickets as though searching for flaws. "These are first-class seats," she said slowly, as if they hadn't noticed. "That's correct," Tobias replied evenly. "Our father booked them." "And where is your father?" Her gaze swept over their shoulders, expecting an adult to appear. "He's on a business call. He'll be boarding shortly," Amara said firmly. The attendant's lips pursed. "I see." She waved over a colleague. "Benjamin, can you verify these?" Passengers shifted impatiently behind them, but the scrutiny only deepened. The colleague inspected the tickets with the same suspicion, muttering about fraud checks and protocols. The twins exchanged a glance. They had seen this playbook before, rules suddenly changing when faces like theirs appeared. A businessman nearby frowned. "They've shown their tickets. Let them board." But his voice was drowned out by the attendants. "Step aside. We need further verification." Humiliation burned as one by one, white passengers glided past them into first class. The twins stood frozen, treated like intruders. Finally, after 20 agonizing minutes, the attendant handed the passes back. "You can board now. No apology, no acknowledgement, just disdain." Inside the cabin, the tension followed. The Vaughns stowed their bags and slid into their seats, hearts pounding. But before they could settle, the same attendant reappeared. "May I see your boarding passes again?" she demanded, her smile tight and false. Amara's patience cracked. "You've checked them 3 times already." "Just a precaution," the attendant replied coolly. "These seats are reserved for premium customers." "We are premium customers," Tobias shot back. Nearby passengers stirred. A woman across the aisle, Dr. Elaine Foster, a well-known surgeon, spoke up. "They've shown valid tickets. Why are you harassing them?" "This doesn't concern you," the attendant snapped. "It concerns everyone," Dr. Foster replied, her tone sharp as a scalpel. But the harassment escalated. A supervisor arrived, siding with the attendant. He leaned in close, his voice low but venomous. "No apology, no acknowledgement, just disdain." Inside the cabin, the tension followed. The Vaughns stowed their bags and slid into their seats, hearts pounding. But before they could settle, the same attendant reappeared. "May I see your boarding passes again?" she demanded, her smile tight and false. Amara's patience cracked. "You've checked them 3 times already." "Just a precaution," the attendant replied coolly. "These seats are reserved for premium customers." "We are premium customers," Tobias shot back. Nearby passengers stirred. A woman across the aisle, Dr. Elaine Foster, a well-known surgeon, spoke up. They've shown valid tickets. Why are you harassing them? This doesn't concern you, the attendant snapped. It concerns everyone, Dr. Foster replied, her tone sharp as a scalpel. But the harassment escalated. A supervisor arrived, siding with the attendant. He leaned in close, his voice low but venomous. Either move to economy voluntarily, or we'll consider you disruptive passengers. One more word, and I'll have the air marshal remove you. Tobias's chest tightened. Removal meant the no-fly list. Their competition, everything, would be lost. Amara's eyes stung with tears she fought to hold back. Passengers began recording. Murmurs spread. Some voices rose in defense. Others whispered complaints about the delay. Still, the supervisor stood firm, his finger hovering near his radio. And then, a voice thundered from the entryway. "What the hell is going on with my children?" Heads whipped around. Standing tall in the aisle was Jerome Vaughn, broad-shouldered, commanding in a charcoal suit. His eyes burned with restrained fury. "Sir, are you with these passengers?" the supervisor asked, his authority cracking. "These passengers are my children," Jerome said evenly, "and I personally purchased their first-class tickets weeks ago." The attendant stammered. "There was a misunderstanding. I was on the jetway for the last 3 minutes," Jerome cut in, his voice slicing through the cabin. "I heard every threat. I heard you mention the no-fly list to 2 19-year-olds. Don't you dare call this a misunderstanding." The cabin fell silent. Phones caught every word. The supervisor's face drained of color. Jerome pulled out his wallet, flashing a platinum membership card and a business card. "My name is Jerome Vaughn, CEO of Vaughn Global Technologies, and a loyal customer who logs over 80,000 miles a year with your airline. Now, would you like to explain to me why my children were treated like criminals for daring to sit in seats I paid for?" The attendant faltered. The supervisor looked ready to collapse. Dr. Foster spoke again. "Mr. Vaughn, I witnessed everything. They were singled out from the moment they tried to board." Jerome nodded at her. "Thank you, doctor. Your statement will be invaluable." He turned back to the crew. "Now we're returning to our seats, and you will provide your names and employee numbers before this plane moves an inch." The twins followed their father back to 2A and 2B. Supportive murmurs rippled through the cabin. Some passengers offered nods, others whispered encouragement. The balance of power had shifted. Minutes later, the captain emerged, a seasoned woman whose authority filled the space. "Mr. Vaughn, I understand there's been an incident. I want to hear it directly from you." Jerome recounted every detail, pointing to passengers still recording. "I have it all documented." The attendants were escorted off, authority shattered. Back in first class, Jerome told his son, "Never thank me for defending what's already yours." Amara whispered, "We started something bigger." Tobias nodded. "And we're not done yet."